got a chance to see the second set of 3 episodes for Countdown on Prime. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zanka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to talk about Countdown, episodes 4 through 6. But before we do, remember to give me that like, give me that subscribe if you can. If you can, give me that thumbs up or share this video out there, that would be great as well. I just got back from the Atlanta Comic-Con. I think I did pretty well, considering I sold, like, somebody came up and bought I brought my comics, like my personal comics I just wanted to get rid of. And somebody bought the whole thing, just came over and bought them all. So, on the first day, I was done, as far as that's concerned. Sold a crap ton of Lords. I mean, a lot more Lords of LA than I thought I was going to sell. And we are now approaching, 480 people following Fairy Tales of Terror on Kickstarter. I basically handed out my bookmarks and, and said, hey, Cinderella's killing people. And people laugh at it. And I show them, they're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. So I think I had lots of fun. Marty was there, Marty Cove. I didn't get even a chance to say hello to him. I was busy the whole time. It wasn't an extremely busy convention, but it was like steady where I didn't want to leave the booth, you know. The last day was the only day, and then everybody kind of left early, so I didn't get a chance. Even Mira Sorvino was there. Kiefer Sutherland was there. I didn't get to see anybody. So, kind of bummed a little bit about that. But anyway, let's jump into Countdown. I'm sure you're all excited about hearing about my life. And again, everybody that gave me money for my mom's funeral, which is this week, I greatly appreciate it on the GoFundMe. Thank you very much. All right, so let's talk about the Countdown. So this is the story. It's basically helmed by Jensen Ackles, who I am a big fan of. I actually think that he would make a really good Jace Carver from my book series, Destiny Aurora. I think he would make a really good Jace Carver, which I'm still looking at trying to make as well. And then we have Jessica Camacho, who I'm not a big fan of. I am a fan of hers. I'm just not a fan of hers being a action star with no powers. Like in Flash, she's fine because she has superpowers. Here, she's 5'2", trying to be an action star. It just doesn't work. Violet Bean, I think, is more of a standout. I'd like to see her. She's also from The Flash. She played Jessie Quick. But I think she has more of the physique and the height to be an action star. Eric Dane, I've always been a fan of. Some of the other characters really haven't stood out at all. The guy who plays Keontae, I like him a lot, but we haven't really given him much to work with. So, but anyway, we've had a death in the family by this episode, and so one of their main characters has died. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to really go into who or anything like that. I'm just going to tell you there is a death, and now they're kind of reeling from that in episode 4, which is called "Bite 'Em Down." So here they're trying to set up to catch this guy who's named Volchek, who we see in here is kind of a dick. Originally I thought he was like a somebody that was kind of pushed to the limit to get to this point to be a villain, but we can see here like even him trying to negotiate some kind of a farming deal. I forgot what country they were doing, but it was Russia versus the United States, and the guy who was representing the United States poured out all these numbers and said we could do it better, but then the guy, Volchek, he decided that he was going to play dirty and pulled up some dirt on the guy and basically threatened him to the point where he had to pull out of negotiations. So, yeah, so we're not liking this guy basically from the beginning. But he is smart. because it does show him. We're not getting told he's smart. We're getting shown that he's smart, and which is how you do it. You don't tell the audience what the character is. You show them, and we are getting to see that here, where they do set the guy up to get there, and he fakes him out. So that's basically episode 4 is them trying to loop him in and basically coordinate him off to where he can't do anything, but they get outplayed. And of course, we also have Jensen Ackles' character, who has a brain tumor or something to that effect, and he's dying. So he's almost like a Riggs character that has like a death wish kind of situation, where he's kind of putting himself into a situation where he doesn't live. and they're all like, what are you doing, man? But it's even more apparent by episode 6. But we'll get to episode 6 in a second. So episode 5, then it's called Blurred Edges. And they have to do a party scene, And Jessica Camacho looks good in the scene. But again, even with heels, he's here. And Jensen Ackles is not a tall guy. Not in comparison to Padalecki. Padalecki's a real freaking tall guy. And she's like up to his shoulder, man. She's just too tiny for this role. It just looks funny. If it's a regular woman on a date with a man, it's no big deal. But here we're trying to show that she's a badass, and meanwhile she doesn't even reach his shoulder with heels. It's crazy. But anyway, so we have they go to a party and they're trying to get information and clone one of the drives to be able to real time download some stuff, and the ambassador or whatever else, him and Eric Dane, were trying to play chicken, which I really like. Eric Dane's really good at playing this strong silent type of character where it's like you don't mess with him, where there's more going on behind. I really like his portrayal of this character, because it just kind of fits into his wheelhouse. Like I said, last ship where he played the captain, he's just really good at those commanding type roles where he has to say less and emote even less. But he has to show it in his eyes that he's very stoic, but he's got a lot going on. So that's even more tough to do as an actor, to show certain things that are almost imperceivable. So I like Eric Dane as an actor. I think he's able to pull that, and I think he's really good in this role. But anyway, so he also has an internal type of thing going on where I forgot what it was. Was it a governor? I forgot what the guy was. I'm not sure if it was a governor or what that is giving him a hard time, and he's trying to head him off. And the guy is heading him off, and he knows that this guy is getting in his way. So I'm appreciating what's going on there. And before we get into episode 6, just remember, too, that I am a writer myself, and you'd like to read anything that I've written, you can just go to Amazon.com and put my name in there. You'll see my 4-novel quadrilogy, Destiny Aurora. It was also made into a board game, an RPG, a graphic novel. It's also on Audible and Kindle. All my books are on Kindle, including my fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. If you like dragons and stuff like that, you'll definitely like that one. Plus my new comic, Fairy Tales of Terror, as I mentioned. Definitely jump in on that. It is on Kickstarter right now in pre-launch, so you can just sign up to get notified when we launch in a couple of weeks. I'm just waiting for the video to get done. But anyway, the QR code is right here, or the link in the description below. We have Psycho Cinderella. We have a murderous Captain Hook, and we have Tiger Lily from Neverland tracking them all down through the streets of New York as they lay waste to people as they go. It's really actually pretty cool. All right, so definitely check that out. All right, so jumping back into Countdown for the final episode, which I thought they had a really good action scene in here. So if you're not watching this, Countdown almost sounds like 24, right? Where it's, finding terrorists or like that. Except, like 24 had to go through 24 episodes, right? Because it was, I think it was Fox. So it was a normal, not streaming type of series. But like episode 12, they knew that it was going to start getting old, so they changed it up. So when they actually completed one villain and were sent out on a tougher villain, which then switched over from 13 to 24. And I loved also always where it was a real-time thing. They were getting from one side of LA to the other in like 5 minutes, which was completely impossible. But if you weren't from LA, I guess you wouldn't know where the stuff is. But anybody from LA would be like, no way. So this is what I think they're kind of trying to go for here, is that they're going after terrorists, things like that. And that's what this is. He's a terrorist type situation. But anyway, after losing their whole lead with the other guy because they tried to entrap him and it didn't work, and he says that he, meaning Jensen Ackles' character, remembers Gallagher or something like that, and they capture this guy named Gallagher, and it's just not him. So his name is Mark Meacham in the show. But anyway, when he finally they realize actually when they're tracking this guy down, they track him down to like a trailer park. So we get this chase scene in a trailer park of him going through the desert and shooting in the desert. I just want to let you know, shooting in the desert sucks. It does. I've done it numerous times with westerns. I did a car chase through the desert, and it just sucks because you have to have trailers everywhere. Everything gets dust all over your computer. All this shit. There's just dust everywhere. And especially if you're shooting in the summertime, I have been majorly burnt shooting in the desert. And then you have to have trailers everywhere because there's no place to do anything, a base camp or anything else. And then everybody just goes back to the hotel. You have to shuttle everybody back to the hotel to eat or anything like that because there's literally nothing around you. So anyway, that's my little 2 cents on shooting in the desert. It sucks. But truthfully, they probably shot this out in a couple of days. So it wasn't probably too horrible. They just had to get through 2 days of it. But the stunt work, I thought, in here was pretty good because you had Jensen Ackles that was inside the trailer that was being towed by a pickup truck. And he almost has to Indiana Jones it and get out of the trailer, get on top of the trailer, jump onto the flatbed, how the guy didn't see him go from the flatbed to the side and pull him out, I had no idea, but that's pretty much what happened. Or did he go in the other door and then throw him out? Either way, he had to get in the door. No way. But it was fun to see it, and I think the stunt team did a really good job of doing all that, and everybody's like, oh, you're crazy, because he still has this death wish. In fact, Camacho's character, I think her name is Amanda, does confront him on it, saying, why do you have a death wish? Because he confronted her on her drug use, which she admitted, and then she confronted him on, what's going on, being on drugs also, but he's like, no, I just have migraines. So he told half the truth, but not the whole truth. So anyway, we got some really good stuff in there, and then Eric Dane deals with his little governor or senator or whatever the guy is. He dealt with that issue too, which I like as well. That they're kind of playing with all these little pieces, and all the characters are getting their own little arcs. But again, we don't see a whole lot in some of the other characters, like Violet's character, like Chianti's got a little bit going on, but not much. And then the big tall guy, I forgot his name. They don't have anything going on. Yeah. Oh, Violet's character's name is Evan. I didn't even realize that. And whatever. But the big tall guy. Oh, the guy that he's paid had the interior thing is a DA. Okay, I thought he was like a senator, but he's not. I guess it's a DA. But the big tall guy, I don't know, remember his name. He's a good actor, but they're giving him nothing right now. And the villain's pretty good as well. And then we have the ambassador for Russia, and he, now that there's pressure on him looking for this terrorist, he actually finds him and confronts him, and then Volchek or whatever else realizes that there's a mole, and I like how he is able to narrow down who the mole is. He has like a little plan, and because we actually see him say, okay, bring the next guy in, and we don't know why that is, but it does pay off. So definitely watch that, because I thought that they handled that very, very well. So I like all the pieces. I think the writing for the most part is very good. The acting is great. Jensen Ackles is very fun to watch. Again, I'm not much of a fan of Camacho in this role. I like Violet in her role. Chianti, and that's the name of the character, not the actor. But what is the Chianti's Elliot? Elliot Knight is the name of the actor. And the guy who plays the villain's very good as well. So I almost prefer Violet and Camacho, Jessica Camacho, switching roles, where Camacho is more of the computer person, and put Violet out in the field. That it would make more sense, logically. So, but anyway, I think they're strong enough actors that they could switch roles, and I think it would work. But anyway, that's it for me. Let me know if you guys are watching it, or if you guys went out and saw Superman again this weekend. I know it did very, very well in comparison to any other superhero movie for a second week. I will not be reviewing Fantastic Four, because I will not be going to see that piece of trash. And yeah, I'm done. I'm done with Marvel in general, so I won't be going to see any other Marvel project ever again. They are talking about rebooting everything now, where they're going to recast Iron Man and everything like that. Let's see if that actually happens, because at this point in time, they have Secret Wars or whatever else. They have like projects for like 10 years out or something like that. By the time they reboot that, I'll be joining my mom in heaven. Anyway, remember to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can. And if you can share this video out there, that would be great. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. And yeah, remember too to look at Amazon. Check out my books there. Just type my name in there. And definitely check out Fairy Tales of Terror. The QR code there, or the link in the description below. I think it's going to be a really good campaign. I'm looking forward to it. The video is looking pretty good, so I'm waiting to see that finished as well. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great week.